Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjan Yamuna Tira Banachari Munatira Banachari Jaya Raj Amadava Kunjavihari Jaya Raj Amadava Kunjavihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Vajrajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vajrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari. Om Nam. We're going to say an invocation, and you get a choice. Do you want the first words of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first words of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, or the mantra that Dhruva Maharaj chanted in the forest? You think about it in your mind, and I will definitely chant the one that you want. You ready? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. The 27th verse goes a little something like this. We'll do words first. Shri Rudra Uvacha Yuyam Vedishaha Vedisadaha Putra Viditam Vas Chikirsitam Anugrahaya Bhadram Va Evam Me Darshanam Kritam Sri Rudra Uvacha Yuyam Vedi Sada Putra Viditam Vas Chakirshitam Anugrahaya Bhadram Va Eva Me Darshanam Kritam Sri Rudra Uvacha Yuyam Vedi Sada Putra Viditam Vas Chikirshitam Anugrahaya Bhadram Va Eva Me Darshanam Kritam Sri Rudra Uvacha Yuyam Vedi Sada Putra Viditam Vai Chikirshitam Anugrahaya Bhadram Va Eva Me Darshanam Kritam. Repeat. Mataji? Lady? There's only one. Okay, you want to repeat the verse? Okay. Okay, good. All right. So, word for word. Sri Rudra Uvacha. Lord Shiva began to speak. Yam, all of you. Vedi Sada of Lord Prachini, of King Prachini Barhi. Putraha, sons. Viditam, knowing. Va, your. Chikirshitam, desires. Anugrahaya, for the matter of showing you mercy. Bhadram, all good fortune unto you. Va, all of you. Evam, thus. Me, my. Darshanam, audience. Kritam, you have done. Translation. Lord Shiva said, you are all the sons of King Prachini Barhi, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you just to show my mercy upon you. Repeat this. Lord Shiva said, you are all the sons of King Prachini Barhi, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you, just to show my mercy upon you. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. By these words, Lord Shiva indicates that what the princes are going to do was known to him. It is a fact that they are going to worship Lord Vishnu by severe austerities and penances. Knowing this fact, Lord Shiva immediately became very pleased, as apparent by the next verse. This indicates that a person who is not yet a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who desires to serve the Supreme Lord, receives the benedictions of the demigods. Headed by the chief demigod, who is it? Lord Shiva. Thus, a devotee of the Lord does not need to try to please the demigods separately. Simply by worshiping the Supreme Lord, a devotee can please all of them. Nor does he have to ask the demigods for material benedictions, for the demigods, being pleased with the devotee, automatically offer him everything that he needs. The demigods are servants of the Lord, and they are always prepared to help a devotee in all circumstances. Therefore, Srila Bilvamangal Thakur said that if one has unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Lord, the goddess of liberation is ready to serve him, to say nothings of the gods of material opulences. Indeed, all the demigods are simply waiting for an opportunity to serve the devotee. Thus, there is no need for a devotee of Krishna to endeavor for material opulence or liberation. By being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he receives all the benefits of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So several things are being described here. We won't talk about them necessarily in order. Sometimes people worship the demigods, and they practice the karma kanda, and they try to do good dharma, which is religious duty, artha, which is material advancement, kama is lust, and moksha is liberation. So, some brahmanas are Vaishnavas, and they teach pure bhakti, And other Brahmanas teach the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, where we do some sacrifices to get some material benefits. Wasn't Madhurya Kadamini reading something about the Karma Kanda this morning? What did she say? That's not rhetorical. What did she say? Well, what does she read in the morning first thing? Is it articles from the newspaper? What is it? Then next. No, there's 10 of them. What is it? Say it louder. Offenses. And what does it say about Karma Kanda? Karma Kanda is the same as Bhakti Yoga? He's going to go look it up, right? Are you? Karma Kanda is the same as Bhakti Yoga, did it say? What is it? Rabindra? What did we say about Karma Kanda? It's what? It's the same, right? Practicing Karma Kanda for material benefits is the same as doing Bhakti Yoga. It's just like if I'm your friend and I only want to be your friend, that's the same thing as if every time I call you, I want money, I want you to help me with things. Same thing, right? Is it? Is not? They say a friend in need is a friend indeed. People say, oh, I love God because every time I need Him, I ask Him for something. If somebody is that kind of friend to you, do you like it when they're in need or not in need? I call you, I have 10 needs you need to fix. This is why it's good to put out books. George Carlin, the comedian, must have seen this in Prabhupada's books, because he said, what is the use of being God if you don't know what to do until someone prays to you with instructions? The thief is praying, please, God, make sure that shop is unlocked so I can go steal something. And the shopkeeper is praying, please, God, make sure the shop is locked so no thief goes inside. And with conflicting prayers, does God become confused? What's the use of being God if you need people to give you prayers with instructions? So this is obviously the point, is that they're thinking God is just waiting for them to give them instructions for the days. So what does it say about Karma Kanda? Raghunath Bhatta, what does it say? To consider the chanting of the holy names as one of the fruitive sacrifices in the Vedas known as Karma Kanda. So if we think it's the same thing, then then we're committing an offense against the holy names. If we're chanting the holy names, and we are thinking for some material benefit, it's an offense against the holy names. And we have to chant the mantra carefully. The one person was chanting, wondering, why whenever I chant do the cats come around? He's going, here kitty, 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 here kitty, 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 here kitty, 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 and all the cats show up. Why do they show up when he's chanting? Because he's not chanting Hare Krishna, he's saying, here kitty, kitty, kitty. Is that the same thing? Is it? It's not the same thing, is it? That's just like the Yamaduta was going to take this devotee out of his body. And he says, you can't take me, I'm a devotee. And so they left, he went back to chanting, and they came back. And he says, how come you're back? He says, well, I'm Nish Nish, and that's Na Na, and you keep calling us Nish 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 Na Na Na, Nish 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 Na Na Na. So we have to be careful to chant this, looking for a Karma Kanda benefit, saying anything we want, calling kitties, Nish Nish and Na Na, or do we chant the mantra in such a way. Prabhupada was giving the lecture in Hawaii about the austerities, that some places they go in the cold water when it's already freezing. And other places in India, it's 50 degrees, and they set fire all around and meditate in the middle. But people aren't much inclined for this, like it said here in the beginning of this purport. That they were going to worship Vishnu by severe austerities and penances. What if we put an ad in the paper? Please come to our temple at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll be practicing severe penances and austerities. Will many people come? Are they interested in that? No? Severe. We're practicing severe austerities and penance. I said to people, you want to come to my house tonight? I'm practicing some austerities. They said, no. It's so bad people don't want austerities. We call that the A word. Usually it means something else, but austerities? They're not lining up for that, right? Is there austerities club at the college? No. Or is it the Bhakti Yoga Club in a different? But we don't call it that, the austerity club. Come to us and do some austerities. Although the studying seems to be quite the austerity. If they go work at the shop right, they make money right away. Whereas if they go to college, the chance to fail is there so often, and they're making no money. So working at the shop right is better, right? Just like according to Bhagavad Gita, the mode of goodness, pleasure in the beginning is like poison. And the mode of passion, pleasure, in the beginning, it's nectar. So obviously, the mode of passion is better, and working at the shop right is better, because you get the pleasure right away and you get paid right away. Is my theory correct? Could I convince many people of it? I could. But they work at the shop right, they make more money, and they accumulate for 4 years while the person is in college, and they take the huge amount of money they've accumulated and invest it, except probably what they're making is less than they need, so they probably aren't investing. And the other person gets out and is making 3 times as much. So the first 4 years, they're behind. The next year, he's caught up by 3/4, and the next year, he's surpassed them. Now they have 6 years. At 2 years, he's equaled them, and at 3 years and 4 years, he's gone way beyond them, even though he started later. It's just like if I say, I'll race you to Peter Maritzburg, and you get on your best running shoes, and I give you an hour start. Will you win? Not if I'm taking a car, because I will get way out ahead starting later. So people are not interested in these great austerities and penances. So what is the austerity for this age? Lord Chaitanya is very kind. He's given us the chanting of the holy names so that we can take shelter of him. And we have to have different policies for different people. Prabhupada says that when the austerities, he says that they have to remember that at the time of initiation, they promised before the fire, before the deities, before the spiritual master, before the devotees, I will not have illicit sex, I will not take intoxication. So is this important for initiates? Is it? Yes? So if people come to the temple for the first time, is this what we tell them? It's like saying getting a job as a doctor or an airline pilot is good. But when the child goes to his first standard of school, this isn't what you explain to him. You have to start at the beginning. Just like a school has different grades or standards. And so we have to know how to, you see, you go to a church, what they do is they make everybody come every Sunday, but they drop the standard. It doesn't matter what you eat, doesn't matter if you're a drunk. You just ask Jesus to forgive you. The trouble is, if you have a problem with alcohol and you have one drink, you're in trouble. You have to ask Jesus to help you not to do it, not afterwards, right? Like the one person said, "Where's the money you owe me?" He said, "I asked Jesus to forgive me." He says, "You should have borrowed the money from Jesus then." So the people don't like to do austerities. We'll let Jesus do it. He died for us on the cross. We'll let him do the austerity, and we will be relieved of the sin. Now, of course, the spiritual master takes on the sins of the disciple, but we're not thinking that as an excuse. So going back to the things here, what does it tell us? So if they receive all the benefits of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, how much time do we spend studying the Karma Kanda? We give people the Maha Mantra for free. Some of them have elaborate Vedic mantras, because you can't do that for free. You have to hire a Brahmin to do it. And then you do a whole puja just to get some material benefit. You worship the spiritual God, but to get material benefits, you're not actually having a spiritual relationship. That's like some people say they're spiritual, not religious. That's what it could mean, because people may follow all the functions, do all the mantras correctly, just to get some material benefit. So even though they've gone to the spiritual God, they're not having a spiritual relationship with him. The spiritual relationship depends on the surrender. And we have to do what Krishna wants. The part we don't like is, Krishna's the supreme controller. We don't like that so much. But if we had to control the whole universe, we'd be in trouble, and so would the universe. And it'd be a lot of work. Or it's like my granddaughter used to say, Krishna can do anything, and it's not even hard for him. You're wondering, did I have the planets in the right place? The theory that it can go from an explosion, and it calls disintegration, and become the most integrated, most organized thing. Like if we were going to make this a better building, would you blow it up and then when it reforms, it forms in a better position? Does that happen? When countries have wars and they bomb the building, does it come out reform in better shape on its own? You seen such a thing? No, it doesn't work that way. We never see something happen where the disintegration, the explosion, turns into something more organized. It takes a lot of organization to do it. So the first thing they did here was just build a temple, right? What did someone have to do? Make a design of that. So it takes some intelligence behind it. So what is this telling us here about the demigods? We have to please all of them so that we can get what we want. That's why some people don't like it when we call the devas demigods, because they want to worship each of those, but they have to know the difference. They may be important people, but it may not be the first thing we say. It's like Prabhupada says, we go in like a needle and come out like a plow. Like say we do an engagement at an average Hindu temple. It's probably better to get them interested in the Maha Mantra, make a few friends with them, and get them to come here. Even though in the ultimate issue, we want people not to worship demigods for material benefits, not to eat meat, not to drink sometimes. It's funny, the one person said, he says, well, 5 days a week I don't drink. I only drink on the weekends. I said, that's like me telling you, don't worry. 5 days a week I don't do anything mean, cruel, or hurtful. But unfortunately for you, today is not one of the 5, right? So I hit you with a brick today, and you say, why did you do that? I says, yeah, but 5 days a week I don't do anything hurtful. Does that make you feel better? You sure? But 5 days a week I don't do anything hurtful. Isn't that the justification? Do people use that? There's a big book of excuses because people who take intoxicants or have sexual addictions or gambling, they all have excuses to blame on someone else. And there must be a book because they all use the same excuses. Must be your fault, right? Doesn't matter what I do, it's your fault. Correct? But we have to accept responsibility for the actions we take. We can't go to Yamaraj and say, well, someone else did this. We have to be responsible for our own actions. And so in the beginning, we don't tell people we're going to do big austerities. We make them feel like they want to come. Like Prabhupada says, you go in like the needle and come out like the plow. Just get them interested. Because if you hit them with the difficult stuff right away, just like in sales, they get people to agree to things. Oh, you're looking for a nice car, aren't you? Would you want the small one or the big one? Just like when you get someone to come. Oh, would you rather help serve out the prasadam? Or would you rather clean the temple room floor? Or bring the pots up from down below? The choice is yours. It's like the salesman says. It's all up to you. You can write a check. You can pay by credit card. You can use cash. But either way, what are they doing? They're buying it. The other way, either way, they're doing some service. So you don't say, you better do this. Say, which would you rather do? Clean up in the temple room, serve the prasadam, or bring the pots up from down below? You give them choices, which are all devotional service. So when we bring people, we don't call the card a card. It's an invitation. And then we make friends with them. I go by the same thing Tukaram does in Laguna Beach. Someone comes to the temple for the first time. You set a low goal. You make them feel like you're a friend, and you make them feel like they want to come back again next week. You don't look for the thing that's different between you, and then make an argument out of that, and they walk out twisting. And then you don't tell them that, right? You try to make them feel like you don't look for something different. You look for reasons that they want to come back next week. You don't start with the austerities and regulative principles. Oh, we're glad you've come. Tonight we're performing rigorous penances and austerities. Please enter our temple room. But we're going to lock the door so you can't get out. Do we do that? That's why when people come, we have to greet them because they're afraid. Not because of us, but you go to some institutions or even some racially things and they look at you like, what are you doing here? An Indian goes to the Afrikaner pub or to the Dutch Reformed Church. They look at you like, what are you doing here, right? You go to another church, they talk to you outside for 5 minutes and say, now you want to join our church? And you're thinking, can I read a book about it first or watch one of your services? If your only contact was with someone in the front of the church or the temple, and they told you they want you to join, who do they want you to have faith in? What is it? Who do they want you to have faith in? You can guess it. What is it? You came in for the first time. This one person talks to you and they tell you, okay, now are you going to join our church? Who are they expecting you to have faith in? Them. You haven't seen the temple. You haven't heard the philosophy. You haven't heard what God is. You're just supposed to believe some random person. Say, hi, my name is Random. And I want you to believe whatever I believe because it makes me feel good when people believe what I believe. Is that an impressive way to handle your life? Right? No. So we get people interested. It's just like we're interested to have people not do things, and sometimes devotees in their enthusiasm, they'll go to a Hindu group and tell them, you shouldn't eat meat and you shouldn't do demigods. But it's better to set a low goal, and then from that goal you go to the next one. You see, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna doesn't condemn the things as much as he gives the cost to benefit ratio. Like people who are in the mode of ignorance, it's poison in the beginning. In the mode of passion, they enjoy, but it's poison later. People in the mode of goodness worship the demigods, he says in the beginning, but later on, he's saying that the fruits are limited and temporary. Saying, you worship the demigods, they're great beings, but the fruits are limited and temporary, whereas when you worship Krishna, you go back to the spiritual world. But it's better to get people to come, make them feel like they want to come. If we start with too much convincing of how we think people are wrong, they're afraid of that. We want to make them think that we appreciate them, and there's some things you'll really appreciate there. So you want them to think that at the temple we do things like you do, but we have some extra added things that you'll really enjoy. So you're not saying that it's different. Say, yes, we have a flower garden like you do. We have roses and we have azaleas, but we also have some other flowers. So you've put in a similarity and a talk about difference, but it's not a difference, it's a variety. We've added more to it. Yes, we're making sabji too, but not just one, we're making 3 of them. Now you haven't criticized them. You're just saying that we're doing the same thing, but we're doing a little more of it. We have to realize, what is the goal when we're talking to people? Are we trying to create an argument? Then you tell them, today's Monday. And you argue with them about it. Because if the goal is have an argument, you don't care what's right or wrong. The goal is to have an argument. So what we need to do is guide people as they come along. It's like Jayapataka Swami says in the Bhakti Vriksha groups, that people want to know how much you care before they care how much you know. If you let people know you care and let them feel like coming back to this temple the first time and coming back the next Sunday will be an advantageous experience. So you kind of ask them, what did you think of the chanting? Take this book home and read it, and then come ask me some questions about it. That's why quite often the book is better. If they read certain things, the book is not arguing with them, it's just telling them facts. You tell them they think you're trying to argue with them. But if they read it in the book, it makes a little more sense. They can't argue with the book. So we try to work with people in steps, just like the book distributor does like advertising. I asked Pragosh how he does well in books. He said, I spend 90% of the time with the 10% who are most likely to buy. First, you get their attention. Then you get their interest. Then from the interest, you talk about the value of the books and you create a desire. And then you make a sale. Then they've thought that this book is worth a lot more than what you're asking. But if you can't get their attention, then why are you worried about trying to ask them for money and go on? I have no time or money, and they walk away. And you chase them? Is this the best pattern? No, it's better to find someone who's interested. So when we're out there, we don't argue philosophy as much. We give them just a little. Sometimes, I tried to cure myself of the fact when someone asks you the time of day, you don't tell them how to build a clock, right? You tell them just enough to make them want to read the book and just enough to make them want to come to the temple, even though things may be certain regulative principles and they may do things wrong. The goal isn't to convince them they do something wrong. The goal is to get them to take a book and to bring them here and to think, what's the goal in mind? Show them I know and they don't? You have to think of it. Sometimes maybe you have some role-playing about it. It's so nice that you've come to the temple today. I've come over to talk to you to show you how I know and you don't. How do you feel now? You know, I know and you don't, so you need to shut up and listen to me. Now, even if it's true, it doesn't come out very well, right? That's why Prabhupada says we go in like a needle and come out like a plow. Even though the form is not as important as the content, still the way it is delivered. If I get a nice sabji and it's nice and hot, but I pour it in your lap, do you appreciate that? After all, it's the content that's important, but the form is also important. So the person who is not yet a devotee, but desires to serve the Supreme Lord, receives benedictions from the demigods. This is something we can do for people, because just like on the Facebook, I get reels of Prabhupada giving lectures and other Vedic things come up. Now, why do they send these to me? Does everyone get those? Everyone gets them? Does everyone get as many as I do? So why do I get more? Because I what? Because I've put them in before, right? So the same thing with the brain. Some people have the desire to watch and play cricket. It doesn't come in my brain. Why? Because I haven't put it in there before. So I don't wonder which team is playing. I'm not even sure how they play. I just found out, I thought the goal was to hit the ball into the wicket. I just found out that you're out if you do that. So I won't be teaching cricket because they will all fail. But because I haven't put it in, how many reels do I get about cricket? None? Does that mean they're not on Facebook? It doesn't. I bet other people get loads of them, right? What this one's doing, what that one's doing. So the same way, when we plant the seed, maybe something comes up. And as I said, our job is just to plant a seed. This happened in my life. I went to a music festival about almost six back. That's almost 6 decades, 1967. And they had different food booths there, and famous bands were there. And the Mystic Arts World had the vegetarian booth. And at the end, they were singing this song. I said, "What's this song?" They said, "Well, there's a Swami on Pico Boulevard, and he sang this song, and it goes like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare." So I chanted that. And a few days later, a friend of mine was shooting at animals, and my mother always told me how special the dove was, because the dove is the bird of peace. And you see the doves, they're not like the dogs or the pigs or the pigeons. They don't, when it comes to sex, they don't care if it's mother, sister, daughter, right? Whereas the doves, the two of them stay in a group, and one flies in a tree, the other one follows, right? They do a dance together. So if one of them's killed, the other's despondent. They are like very bonded. Even when the children grow up, they want the children away because they are bonded to each other. Which is the better. Tukaram in Laguna Beach is like that with his wife, because they've never been with anyone else. And he says in the lecture, some people say I'm more attached to my children than my wife. He says, but that's not me. So they have to have a strong bond. That's why they're the Dharma Patni. But again, back to this, my friends at the Mystic Arts World worked in the bookstore, and they would ask me to watch it for 10 minutes. Their watch must go slower than mine, because according to my watch, it was 37 minutes. So I found a book called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and it told me that bhakti means we just ask God for some way to serve him. So that's not the same as karmakanda, right? If it said, go pray to the demigods for material benefits. And because the devotees planted the idea, these people were already vegetarians and into spiritual life. They didn't say you'll go to hell if you don't give up illicit sex and intoxication. They said someday for real spiritual life, you have to give up illicit sex and intoxication. Not yet, but at least if the desire is planted, then someone may come around to it. So they used to tell me this. And so I'd go to my meditation rock and I'd pray for some way to develop love of God. And January 5th, 1970, I had this strong inspiration that if I really want that, I have to give up illicit sex and intoxication. I thought, you know what? It's a good idea. I'll do it in June. I'll date a few more girls from high school, go to a few more parties. Then I thought, but if it's a good idea, shouldn't I do it right away? If I told you I'm giving away kilos of gold, would you say contact me in June? Would you say that? Or would you come right away? You say next time, right? So then I thought, well, this is kind of a tall order, God. But if I'll do this for you. I'll give up the illicit sex and intoxication. And now you send me some way to develop love for you. And I wondered, how long would it take? A week, a month, a year? I opened my eyes, and as far away as Prabhupada is, was a devotee in saffron walking towards me. And I thought, Hare Krishna, this is what I'm supposed to do? And he came up and says, what are you doing here? Because I was down below at the beach, and there were stairs up to where the street is. And he says, we were on the stairs up above the next beach. And all of a sudden, I had this uncontrollable compulsion to come down. He says, would you like to come and chant with us? I said, I think that's exactly what I'm supposed to do. So we plant the seeds. We give someone a book. We tell them to come to the temple. We go out on Harinama. We realize it comes in stages. We don't want to argue with them about what they should do. Prabhupada says we don't ask people to join us right away. We ask them, come and at least watch what we do. We can't get to the second stage till we got to the first. So we try to get people to come to the temple, take a book, come back, learn some more. It's like Krishna even says, he doesn't go like Bible says, you'll go to hell if you do this and all the things. Krishna says, deliberate fully and do as you wish. So we have to tell people, listen, we'll let people do what they want. But if you come to the temple, we'll teach you the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, which shows the cost of certain activities and what the benefit is. Like if I'm selling 100 Rand notes for 200 Rand, and Rukmini's selling them for 50 Rand, who would you buy them from? I'm selling 100 Rand notes for 200. She's selling them for 50. Doesn't matter because they're both 100 Rand notes? Or would you go to me? You go to her because she's selling them at half price. I'm selling them at double. So we let people know that you come and learn something what we're doing and see what you think of it. Deliberate, Krishna used that before in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that you use deliberate spiritual intelligence. It means you discuss what are all the facts and come up with a solution. When someone's on a jury, they tell you, listen to all the facts from both sides. Then you go and deliberate, discuss it, and then you come up with a conclusion. I was on the jury duty once, and let's see here. I have to create 2 cars here. Okay. The woman's in the small car here. She said that the truck hit her here, and she went, it's backwards here, the lanes. He hit her here, and she went all the way to the other side over there, and then he took off. Looks like the truck hit her, and it was hit and run. But when you hear all the details, she was in a tiny car, and he couldn't see her. The fact that she went that way means he couldn't have hit her here. She would have gone this way. It means that she had turned in front of him, and he hit her here, which caused her to go that way. So if you just heard her part, looks like she's in the right. But when you hear the facts, he had to have hit her on this side, made her go that way. So we need to deliberate. Just like when I tell you, hey, mode of passion is the best because you get its nectar in the beginning. If you haven't reviewed all the others and seen its poison in the end, it sounds pretty good. Do people do this? They do. They think if the things doesn't matter what the cost is, I get what I want now. And so we have to use that deliberate intelligence. And we have to try to see what our purpose is, how we can be helpful to people, how we can understand. That's like I say at the Sunday feast, I wanted to change things up. Not the artik, not the prasadam, but when people go there, go make friends with new people. Find out what they need. Find out what's going on with them. Quite often that's the best thing, is to find out something about someone. Someone was preaching here to a couple came, and they were telling them that when you're really despondent, you turn to Krishna. When you're out of money, they said, well, we never had money problems. These people flew, the husband and wife flew their son and daughter to Cape Town, got on a cruise ship to Durban. That costs money, right? They live somewhere in the Los Angeles area. They have a second house in Laguna Beach where you can't touch anything for less than 40 million rand. That's the second house. If the second house is in a town where the bottom houses are 40 million rand, do they have money problems? Just like when they told King Louis and Marie Antoinette that the people have no bread, they said, well, let them eat cake. People had lots of money, so I ran out of money. They said, well, go to the ATM machine or borrow money against some of your properties or stocks or transfer. No, I don't have any. They don't understand, right? They don't understand what it means. So, we have to develop this understanding for people. You have to understand what they're about first. You understand which one of the four kinds of people they are. Are they in want of money? Are they in distress? Are they inquisitive? Or are they in search of knowledge of the absolute truth? It's like Prabhupada says, if you're sick and you walk in the pharmacy, say you walk in the Dischem or the Clicks, the medicine you need is there, right? So you just pick any medicine. And when the pharmacist says, no, you need this, you say, why are you selecting one particular medicine? They're all medicine. That's correct, isn't it? So aren't they mistaken to pick a particular medicine? If they're all medicine, then why does it matter? Why does it matter? Because you need to know what medicine you need. So we need to know that. Prabhupada says the pharmacist, it's funny, here's one that people get in trouble with, like Prabhupada says, that the spiritual life, you follow the instructions that are given by the doctor or what's on the bottle. If the bottle says, take one painkiller every 4 hours, what does that mean? It means take 2 every 2 hours, right? More people think that, don't they? But if they've had an operation and one pill doesn't kill all the pain, so they take 2 instead, do they get over the pain quicker? They don't, because it's called pain management, not pain extinguishment. If it takes 1.5 pills to kill the pain, they give you 1. That way it eases the pain, but because you're in pain, your body tries to heal. You take too many, the body doesn't need to heal because you don't feel the pain, and everything slows down, so you'll be in pain 3 times as long as the person that followed what it said on the bottle. And you'd be amazed at how many people have trouble with that. It's written on the bottle, isn't it? Take 1 every 4 hours. And so we have to understand what people need. And the desire is we want to plant a seed. We don't try to go pick a fruit right away. We see if we can plant a seed. Then we see if we can water it. So it should be take a book and read it. You can have a friend out of me. You should come to the temple. And well-meaning, quite often, devotees go to like a program at a Hindu temple and tell them all the things they need to do. It's all true, but it may be done too quickly. It's like maybe a man should ask a woman to marry him, right? But is that the first thing he should say? Walks up and says, I want to marry you. First, they have to see if they understand each other. And usually they try to convince the women that they have. Like I'll joke with women. I'll say, what's your favorite color? And before they say anything, oh, really? Mine is too. And they laugh. You know why? Because that's what the men do. Really? That's your favorite place? Really? That's your favorite band? That's mine too. And they lie to them instead of, first they should get to know the person, find out if things are similar, find out if they have devotional qualities, go some places that is like, maybe we can go to the beach together. Then later they say something specific like, I want to take you somewhere you want to go. But it goes in stages. And after they've gotten to know each other and the temple authorities say they're a good match, then the man asks the woman to marry him. So it's a good idea for the man to ask the woman to marry him. But it shouldn't be the first thing he says, is it? Even though that's the right thing to say, it shouldn't be the first thing, should it? Same way, you need to buy this product. First, you need to show that the value is greater than the cost. Just like if I say you need to buy this right here, right now, for 100 Rand, but I didn't tell you it's a 200 Rand note. You don't want to give up the 100 Rand. But when you see it's worth more than the cost, then you do it. So we have to do the things in stages. We have to see first if they get the interest. Just like the man asking the woman to marry her may be the right thing. But I guarantee if that's the first thing he says to her, it won't work out well, will it? So the same with us, well-meaning. You should chant 16 rounds a day and give up meat eating and intoxication. And we have to realize we move people from where they're at. If a man and woman come together and they're boyfriend and girlfriend, the first thing we don't say is that they shouldn't be together. You encourage them to stay together with each other and then to work on things, and eventually if you get along you can become married. You encourage the right thing. Because even if they have a lower standard, we have to remember that if it's a boy and a girl and they decide to be only with each other, it's not according to the standard we want. But it's still a better ideal than someone who pretends to be a renunciate but forces themselves on underage children. The boyfriend and girlfriend who are committed to each other is still a higher principle. Even though it's not the highest, at least they live up to that principle. So what we try to do is get people to grow on what they have. Make them know they're appreciated. Let them know how much you care before they care how much you know. Start with the low goals. Don't tell them everything they need to do. Make them feel like they want to come and take part. Make them feel like they'll be welcome here. Realize, just like people are afraid that they can't come here without an invitation, so you give them an invitation. People come to Laguna and they say, I brought my invitation. You can come without an invitation, but it's better to say, here's your invitation, come and bring the invitation with you. Then they feel special. Are they special? Yes, they are special, but they're not the only one. See, that's something you tell to people when they come. But the man shouldn't say that to his wife, right? You're special, but you're not the only one. So a different message may be given to different people. Like the man is talking to women, say, oh, you know what, you come to this temple, you're special. But you're not the only one because I invite many people. Then the woman feels secure, right? Say, oh, come to our special party. And the woman shows up and it's just him and the man. Now they don't feel so secure. So the same message may be different. If he says, you're special, but you're not the only one. We're inviting hundreds of people to come and you're one of them. That message is better to them. So we have to be careful. What's the message we want to give to people? We want them to feel comfortable about coming. You go to a place where maybe some Hindus eat meat, and maybe they worship demigods. You don't start with them. You make them want to come here, and you gradually teach the things. Like if I say, quit your 20 Rand an hour job. Or did I tell you I was going to pay you 100 Rand an hour? Or 200 or 500? If they can see that something is better, then they quit. Like we don't argue with people that our restaurant is better than the other one. Say, come and try our restaurant, see what you think of it. Isn't that a better way? And then, as they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If they come and like it, then they automatically develop it. So we have to learn the strategy of that. Make people feel like they're welcome. Make people understood. Find out something about people. Because Tukaram does this in Laguna Beach. A couple will come and say that they're going to Boston to go to college, and they're both studying this and that, and he'll remember what they're studying. Oh, Bob, you're studying to be a doctor, and Mary's studying to be an attorney. How did you remember that? You remember something about people, make them feel special, and they appreciate it, right? Like if you're talking to someone, you don't then answer the phone. Oh, just a minute. Yes, I'll get back to you. Yes, I know your wife is dying, but just a minute. You know, you have to think, what is the most important thing to do at the time? It's like I tell people, I chant rounds, I drive a car, and I check emails on the computer. But I don't do them at the same time. You develop a right time for each one. And so that's the same thing here. It's saying that if you can create a little desire for people, that by doing a little service, just like that reel, they put the Prabhupada reel or the cricket reel, they get more of it. So what we try to do is put them in there where the algorithm of the brain, they saw one thing they liked, they're going to want more of it. If I see a reel on there and it's disgusting, I'm not going to look for other ones, am I? If the reel tells me I'm stupid, I'm not going to look for it, even if I am stupid. So we have to remember that in people, is what we're trying to do. That's why when we have the programs, first we had the programs for the 50-year reunion of Prabhupada, then we bring people to the temple. Because the goal in all of it is, the end goal is not to have people remember Prabhupada came 50 years ago. That Prabhupada came here to bring Krishna consciousness and establish a temple. So the goal is to come to the temple that Prabhupada wanted us to build and do that. We don't say, I'm so glad you came for the 50-year program. Come back again in 10 years when we do it again. We don't say that. That's why afterwards, it works out chronologically too, but afterwards, come to the temple for the program there. So each thing should lead up to something else. The fact that they read the book and come back to the temple and discuss it. Come to the temple and then come back again next week. The thing is to put them on a continuum. And the main thing with that is to get it started. If you don't get it started, it's not going to happen at all. Just like Vaisheshika says now, just go out and watch the other devotees distribute books. They go in teams of 3. Whereas Guru Kripa used to say, pick it to the bone or don't come home. And some people didn't collect enough, they just don't come home. So we have to remember that. We're planting seeds. All right, we'll end there. I'm leaving tomorrow, and then I go for a quick trip to Johannesburg, and then I come back in 2 months. Coming in summer is good for me because I hate cold weather, but I hate to leave Vrindavan, but I thought they would think it was important that I come for the 50 and 40-year anniversary. Was it good I came? Would you be happier if I didn't come? What if I said I didn't want to come? Then what would you think? Then you wouldn't be clapping? No. It's too late to change it now, right? To get me out of Vrindavan during Kartik, it has to be important. You know, some people ask, oh, when you're here alone and Prabhupada had written you the letter, did you feel like bliss at every moment and a sense of contentment? In one sense, I felt a sense of contentment, and I felt like even if I die here, I'm pleasing Prabhupada, a dedication to Prabhupada. But also, I knew that the time was limited. If I say you have to sell these books between now and a year, I knew I had a limit of time. How much was the time I was limited to? Could have been a day, could have been a week, could have been a month. At some point, security police were going to catch me, and I was either going to get killed, jailed, or deported. Either way, I'm gone, right? So I had to go out morning. I'd chant rounds, and then I'd go out in the morning to the businesses. Evening, I'd go to houses and sell the books in sets. I'd make incense, put them in the stores, and ask them to sell them to help me pay off the book debt and ask people for special donations, because I knew that I had to get someone else here, I had to create contacts, and I had to pay off this debt. Because if I was gone and there was no books but a big debt, no one's going to want to come to take a debt. They want to come where I gave them a car and $5,000 worth of books. So I stayed on for that, and I came back for this, and I'll be back here on December 15th. Hare Krishna.